Stacy and I became friends freshman year of high school. And we were pretty close friends from the beginning. We hit a bit of a snag toward the end of our junior year when I started dating her best friend. And we were vying for that girl's attention. But when that relationship ended that fall, Stacy and I ended up getting closer. We realized we had a lot more in common with each other than we did with that girl. And we became really close. She was my booster and I hers. We were confidants. I told her everything. And I learned a new meaning for the phrase best friend that I'd never known. It was deeper than anything I'd experienced before. So about a year after we graduated from high school, Stacy found herself needing a place to live for a couple of months. And as soon as I found out, I went home immediately. I was still living at home with my folks. And I talked to my parents and my two younger brothers, and I said, hey, Stacy needs a place to live. Where's the volume? Yeah. We good? Better? Excellent. So I told my family, Stacy needs a place to live for a couple of months. Would it be okay if she stayed with us? And they all knew her, and they said, yeah, absolutely. A couple of months, that'd be fine. So she moved in, and it was a great fit. Stacy became the daughter my parents had always wanted, and the sister that my brothers and I never knew we needed. Like I said, I told Stacy everything, and one thing that I apparently had told her, I'd even forgotten that I told her this, was that I had always wanted someone to throw me a surprise party. I didn't go to parties in high school. I didn't go to any parties in high school until I started doing theater. And I kind of felt left out, maybe unsure, and I felt like a surprise party would be a huge affirmation. So I ended up coming up on my 20th birthday, and I'd just been accepted to college out in Illinois. And knowing that I was leaving the state, Stacy decided that she was gonna make that happen. She was gonna get me that surprise party I'd always wanted. So she conspired with my mom and my brothers, brought my dad in, a bunch of our friends, to throw a huge blowout party for me. And they worked behind the scenes. I didn't have the slightest clue about what they were doing. And I would have remained blissfully ignorant of the whole plan if there hadn't been one little slip up. I was homesick on a weekday and had a bad cold. Stacy and my parents were off at their respective jobs. My brothers were at school, and I get a phone call. Hi. Hey, listen, it's Stacy. I'm at work. I think I left a folder in your car, and there's some information there that I need. Can you go get it? So I throw on a robe and I go. I find the folder and I bring it in, put it down. The information's right there in the right-hand pocket. Read it off to her. I hang up. I go to close it. The information's on the right-hand side, and on the left-hand side is an invitation to my surprise party. And at first I was just thrilled. I mean, it was just amazing. This was going to happen. I was finally going to get this surprise party. And then it dawned on me that it wasn't going to be a surprise anymore. But then I was hit with something that I can only call a sense of righteous duty. I was going to make sure that I didn't let on that I knew about this. I was going to preserve the surprise element for them and make sure that it was the best party it could possibly be. So when a couple of days later, Stacy came home and had a really odd suggestion, I didn't bat an eye. Hey, I have this great idea. We should go on a double date. Me and my boyfriend, and you and that girl, Vivian. You hate Vivian. I don't hate Vivian. She's lovely. She's a joy. 2 weeks ago, you told me, I hate Vivian. No, You're remembering it wrong. No, it'll be fun. Ask her out. We'll all go together. It'll be great. We'll do it in a couple of weeks. And obviously, I didn't push any further than that because I knew this was the setup to get me out of the house. So fine. I called Vivian, and wow, she's available that night. Fantastic. So the night of the double date, the party, comes, and Stacy's boyfriend Jeff comes to the house, Vivian comes to the house, and Jeff's gonna drive us to the restaurant. As we're walking out, I look across the street and I see the house where a bunch of our friends lived in this kind of post-high school group bachelor pad. And normally on a Friday night, there wouldn't be a lot happening there. They'd be out doing other things, but all the lights are on, lots of activity. Obviously, this is part of the staging. I don't say anything. We go out to dinner, and we have a lovely time, but I can't help but notice the significant glances among my dining companions. I just eat my food. On the way home, there are a lot of familiar cars. But luckily I know not to ask. Finally, we pull up into the driveway and the house is dark. Well, I can't let this pass. My parents didn't say anything about going out. My brothers should be home. What's the deal here? The house is dark? Oh, I think Mom said something about them going to the movies. All together? Yeah. My brothers were 17 and 15. They didn't want to go to the movies with my parents. But it was fun. I let it drop. And I go to open the door, and we're here. We're at the moment, and I'm just hit with this brief wave of sadness because this is going to be a sham. I'm going to be acting. But we're here, and it's time to put on the happy face. So I open the door, the lights come up, dozens of happy voices yell, "Surprise!" And they've flown out a friend of mine from Chicago for this. The house is decorated like the Starship Enterprise. My favorite ship. There's tons of amazing food. Friends I haven't seen in years are there. I'm getting hugs and kisses, and I can't help but feel in a very concrete way the huge amount of regard and care that my best friend and my parents and my brothers and all these people who have come here have for me. And in that revelation, I was well and truly and gloriously